Today is a day of remembrance. We will never forget the events of September 11, 2001. Today we join the country in honoring all the victims of 9/11. We also pay a special tribute to the first responders who sacrificed their lives while rescuing the victims of that horrific tragedy. These heroes, the victims, and their families are always in our hearts. On 9/11, communities across the country came together to assist and support each other. This bond, all of us as one country together, brought comfort and healing to a nation in pain. Today, I join with the entire Clovis Community College family to honor the past and remember the importance of community in our lives. Thank you.
I was getting ready to go to the office when my wife, who wakes up earlier, brought me out from the room to say, look, I don't know what I was watching, until the second plane hit. And then I was shocked. I was like, wow, what could have happened? And as the stories developed throughout the next couple of days, I was still in amazement. It was a very sad day for our country. And I remember it as a painful one. When 9/11 comes around, and I have done this, I thank for what I have. I thank and appreciate all the work that our country has done. And it makes me be respectful of what we have around us. That will not be forgotten, because we remember every single time that there was sacrifice, that we had heroes, and that we still have heroes, especially with everything that's happened now since then. But I appreciate what we have done and will continue to do for all those who supported the call to action to rescue, to rebuild, and to honor those who perished on that day.
Remembering 9/11 Patriot Day is something that I will always remember. I'm old enough to remember where I was on that exact day when I found out what was happening to our country. What stands out most is seeing the images of first responders, firefighters, heading toward the tragedy to save as many people as they could, and proudly displaying our American flag as they responded to all of those emergencies. I proudly display the American flag and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance flag salute. That is something that is very special to me, and I honor the flag in our country. What stands out most and what I'd like to remember is all the families who lost loved ones on that tragic day. I would like them to know they are in my thoughts and my prayers, and we are honoring them and thinking about them on this very special day.
So 9/11 is one of those days that you never forget where you are or what you were doing. I mean, heck, I remember what I was wearing that day as I was getting ready to go to class at Fresno State. And of all the images that we saw live, happening before our eyes live on television, there was this one shot in particular of the Twin Towers, and they had already been hit, and they were just filming it. And as the first tower was coming down, there were about 5 or 6 firefighters in the foreground. Again, this is all from far away. And as it's going down, one of the firefighters took off his helmet and just slammed it on the ground in disgust, realizing that his fellow first responders were in that building, saving as many people as they could. And we all watched it happen live on television. And besides all of those vivid images. I think what I remember the most in the days following was the outpouring of support from all over the nation. People just wanted to help in any way that they could. I remember donating money to the Red Cross. There was a call for donations for blood, like anything that we could do. And while 9/11 is definitely a day to remember those that were taken from us 19 years ago today, I think it's also a reminder that there's a glint of hope for people just wanting to help out in their community. By no means is it a perfect world today, but just take a look at what's going on with the California wildfires really close to home here, and the outpouring of support of people just wanting to help out their neighbors and their community. That is my reflection on what 9/11 means to me.
On September the 11th, 2001, I was living in the north of England. I'd just returned back from a visit to California, where I'd spent the summer here in Fresno with my family. I was sitting at my computer, my airline tickets and passport next to me on the desk, and my mother called me and told me to put on the news. I remember watching the footage over and over again in disbelief. I remember trying to call my family for the longest time, not being able to get through. I remember going into town the next day and having coffee with my mother, and the town was so quiet and subdued. Despite the physical distance from the US, we were all truly shaken. So today, on this day of remembrance, I'd like to give thanks to the people who risked and gave their lives to save others, and to say a prayer for the loved ones that we lost.
I remember that was a day where I was teaching, and I remember thinking no one's going to come to school today. But I went, and I remember sort of an eerie silence sort of permeating the college. I was at Reedley College at the time. Getting out of the parking lot, no one was talking in the parking lot. Standing around in hallways, no one seemed to be talking. It was really, really quiet. And when I got to class, I was absolutely shocked to see that almost everybody was there. And I think they just needed each other. They needed people, they needed normalcy, they needed to talk about it, and to hear that things were going to be okay.